Welcome back everyone to the Walls of Delirium League. In today's video I'm gonna talk a bit about my League starter Assassin CoC and Delirium, but I also wanna talk about some thoughts on Delirium as a whole, even after the patches. With all honesty, so far this league has been a big ass oof. Between the difficulty at the beginning and literally barely scraping by on currency to build a character, I must admit I am not having the greatest of times. Like, without exaggerating, most of my currency has come from flipping orbs of fusing and selling a few cluster jewels for 10 to 20c. Yes, this guy wanted to start a custom crit character, so yeah, the experience has been a bit less than amusing, to say the least. Crybaby situations aside, the custom crit assassin is going, in the sense that I am lacking some things here and there to turn it to 11, but so far it sits on a 7, maybe an 8 if that makes any sense. But you know what also makes sense? Hitting that fat subscribe button if you enjoyed today's video. Yes, I know it took me a week to post anything, but hey, if you wanna see if this CoC assassin ends up working or flopping hard, you're gonna have to subscribe to find out soon. Anyways, I'm actually happy that I was able to turn this guy into custom crit pretty quickly, since I got a 6 linked sword early on and I was able to work from that for a while. However, the mods on that sword left a lot to be desired, and just recently I decided to swap to an axe with better quality of life mods to make the build feel a lot more solid. We are pretty much following the last video's concept to a T. That means starting as a self-cast Wave of Conviction assassin, and actually that got me to maps pretty smoothly. For leveling tips, I'd say that your first priority is getting Grim Sorrow, as those are gonna stick with you for a very long while. Even when we turn this into CoC, the Grim Sorrows will be at our hands at all times. I recommend that you go dual wield to maximize your DPS, especially the cast speed, but I recommend getting scepters, wands or daggers with +1 level to fire, physical or all spell skill gems, as those will greatly help in the damage department. Besides that very specific mod, any cast speed, spell damage, crit chance or crit multi is welcome on the weapons as well. The leveling setup is Wave of Conviction, faster casting, arcane surge, inspiration and conk effect. For auras, hatred, herald of ash and a low level clarity. Also a frost bomb, a holy flame totem with combustion, an ice golem, withering step linked to arcane surge and Vaal righteous fire. Coincidentally, this is also going to be the setup for supporting skills when the character becomes a custom crit assassin. However, the only change we are gonna have to do is we're gonna swap clarity for precision, and we are gonna level precision to the max level. If you noticed, I didn't go beyond the 5 link, and that was because once I experienced Delirium in maps, I realized that the custom crit setup was gonna become mandatory, which is why I swapped to that as soon as I had the currency to do so. And be warned, because if you're gonna start this from 0 like I did, this is going to feel extremely scuffed for a while. Especially if the game feels like trolling the ever-loving crap out of you and not giving you any currency to invest into your character. Yes, I am indeed still salty about this league start. Anyways, we are gonna want either a 2-handed sword with a global crit multi implicit or a 2-handed axe with increased crit chance implicit. And we are gonna need, and believe me, it's actually mandatory to need this, +1 level of socketed gems and attack speed mods at the same time. And there's actually reasons as to why I'm telling you this. The cooldown cap for triggered spells from custom crit is 6.05 attacks per second, without any cooldown recovery on the gear. The closer we are to this number, the better. However, going above the number is going to make us skip casts when we attack, and we do not want that at all, which is why we gotta pay attention to the attack speed, and we need some of it, but we don't wanna go above 6.05 attacks per second. At the same time, the +1 level of socketed gems is what is going to give us the DPS to hit stuff hard. Not only is this mod going to enable the damage for the spells, but will also boost the power of our support gems, especially in power. Personally, I started this CoC journey with a sword, but that didn't have crit chance, and even though we are the assassin and critting is the name of our game, I wanted consistency, which is why I ended up swapping to the 2-handed axe. As I said before, any of these weapons is fine, but you need the attack speed and +1 level of socketed gems at least. Both options have their ups and downs, and it's up to you to decide which one is best. Besides that weapon, we want a Carcass Jack and Grim Sorrow for uniques. In my case, my gloves are corrupted with elemental weakness, and I advise doing the exact same thing because that is going to greatly cheapen out the rings. The other important things are the helmet and amulet. The helmet can be an Elder or Warlord base because we want life, a resist or 2, and either fist damage to spells and conk effect for the area damage, or elemental damage and global crit multi. The amulet needs the incursion mode cold res and cold damage leech as life, because you know there is no spell damage life leech on the tree. However, I will not go further into the gear because there is a big fat chance that the gear changes in the end. This character is nowhere near done, I am not giving up on him anytime soon, so be sure to keep an eye out for updates on him. But I'm still gonna share the POV on screen right now, and the link is also in the description below. And now we are gonna talk about Sepia League, and I wanna be dead honest with you all. I'm actually surprised that GGG caved in and lowered the difficulty of the league mechanic. But at the same time, it actually needed those changes. It was a concoction of everything wrong with Path of Exile, from the barely visible debuffs, to rampaging death effects, to an abundance of one-shots, to damage sponges, to terrible performance, to mediocre rewards. Like, the only reason you will be engaging with the mechanic was to prove that you got good and were a freaking indestructible delete all god gamer. But that changed on the same week as the release, and I do appreciate that. I mean, I still don't appreciate that RNG keeps playing with my emotions, but after the changes I do find myself engaging with Delirium on every map. Even if some things get out of hand here and there, it feels more accessible than the rage-inducing concoction we had earlier this week. However, the pessimist in me feels like the initial experience for many was that abomination, and that is going to chunk a good portion of the player base early on. There are a lot of arguments about this on different lands of the Path of Exile community, but I will admit that I am not surprised that people turned tail when the experience was pretty hardcore from day one. Like, I haven't even gotten to Sirius, and all I hear is how he's pretty much cancer nowadays, even at the lowest awakened level, and I am dreading every second as I get closer and closer to fighting him. I know that he has fixes pending and some patches, but in my humble opinion, stuff like that is what pushes people away from the game. You can't balance the difficulty on the top 1% of players. Don't get me wrong, challenge is great, but there is challenging content and there is whatever the heck they did to Cyrus and the release of Delirium. Anyways, those are just my 2 cents on the whole situation. I know that this video is a big lap that probably went nowhere, but I wanted to post something anyways because I wanted to prove that I ain't dead and the channel isn't dead either. With the global quarantine going on, I suspect that a lot of you are trying to look for ways to entertain yourselves, and hopefully this video helps pass the time during these rather dark times. Expect a follow-up of the Assassin Custom Crit starter soon, and other Path of Exile shenanigans as well. Depending on how easy it is to finish the character and starting another one, we may have to dip into other games as well, just to pass the time. With all honesty, without memeing, this league start has been extremely rough, and right now my number one focus is finishing the character to a complete state. Beyond that, I don't know yet, we're gonna have to see. So yeah, that's it for today's content. I wanna thank you guys for watching the video, and if you enjoyed it, be sure to hit the subscribe button on the way out. Anyways, take care, wash your hands, and don't go out unless necessary. And I'll be back soon enough with more videos. Peace out.